it stops, no one knows. We're going headed into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hi everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Gosh, that's crazy. I was thinking it was like Wednesday or something already. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Criminality. What's up, Yankee Ghost? Hi, Kelt. What's up, Teresa? Hi, Sleuthie. Hi, True Crime Time. What's up, Richard? Hi, Just Deb. What's up, Johnny? Hey, Terry. Hey, Jen. Hey, Karen. Shane. Hey, sweet dude. BJBC. Hi, Jenny. You're very welcome. I don't thank you guys for being here. Unindicted co-conspirator. What's up, Joanna? Hey, Kim. Schmeed. Love to care. Hey, Angie, baby. What's up, Caitlin? In the bushes. Inspector Gadget. Hey, Ramblin'. Joanna's over here doing cartwheels. What's up, Journey Takes a Trip? Hey, Jen P. Hey, KT Recovers. What's up, Tracy? Teresa. Hey, Teresa, the other Teresa. And I think we have like 7 Jens in here, too. So it's like there's all the Jens and Teresas today. What's up, Dina? All right. So I don't know if you guys are aware. What's up, Brian? Digital. Hey, Jeanette. Hey, Chebe. We are, I'm in Southern California, so we're under all this like stupid storm stuff, and it's been raining like, they say cats and dogs. It's been raining cats and dogs. It's just everything is just wet. It's wet. It's yucky. It's just gross. So that being said, because of all the storm stuff, I'm hoping that this will be seamlessly streamed. But if not, you guys all know why. It probably won't be a super long one, just because I don't want to take any chances. So, but that's kind of where we're at. Is Australia on fire or just South America? Is it flood? Oh yeah, massive floods everywhere. We're not supposed to leave the house, but we still kind of have to. There's other things that still have to be done, but we're trying to stay inside as much as possible. It's been raining prosecutors and defense teams. So, and that's why I hate to say like it's not that bad. I mean, I've been in a tornado before. The storms that we're having are not that bad, but it's just really wet. Everything is just wet. So I don't want to scare anybody, because it's not like that. My full wheat. Is it possible the Kleins weren't involved after all? I mean, wouldn't Richard Allen have ratted them out to try and save himself by now? Chris Owens, that's a great question. That is a great question. I go back and forth on it. I don't personally think the Kleins have anything to do with it. But there's the weird Grissom Air Force Base that I can't, you just can't ignore it. You can't act like it's not there. But I just don't think there's any. I don't think if there's anything, there's no direct involvement, in my opinion. And I hate to say it, but that guy's not going up and down any hills. He's just not. Let's be real. Where are all these dang tentacles? Well, I'm thinking the tentacles actually have to do with the law enforcement. This is where I've come to, Kelt, with the whole tentacles thing. I'm thinking that there's a lot of tentacles because each law enforcement agency or department or team that was working on this case alongside them all literally had different POIs. And they all were focused on very different suspects. And I'm wondering if that's the tentacles comment. because there's a lot of tentacles, there's a lot of people, a lot of players, and they're all working on different angles. That's where I'm at with it. Maybe that's just me trying to simplify it, but that's what I think. Well, so that's interesting because he doesn't say. He says in those messages, he talks about that this happened on Easter morning. And when I first read it, I remember having this conversation with you, Sleuthy, too. When I first read it, I thought that that was when he got the Discovery Index. But then everything keeps going back to December, but I can't find any dates regarding December in those messages. So I don't know. I'll try to dig some more, though. I'll try to dig some more. Hi, Ryan, and thank you very much. Yeah, another Carter mystery speak. Just like I said, though, if the Kleins were involved, why wouldn't Alan rat them out to maybe try and save himself? I just don't think they were. I just don't think they, I don't know. I just don't think they were. But, you know, all I can really kind of go with is what I'm presented and then what my gut tells me. And I'll tell you, when they very first started looking at Keegan Kline, I was reading through some of the stuff that was being released. And I think once we got to where the transcripts came out, I was just like, yeah, not feeling it. Like, I just don't think they have anything to do with anything. I think that he was, obviously he's not a good dude. Don't get me wrong. He's a bad guy, did some really weird shit, but I'm going to, my thought on the whole thing, I'll just tell you my thought on the whole thing. And this is just me. So there's nothing I'm going to show you that's going to back it up. My thought is, hey, Jinxie, that, the Anthony Schatz account was not communicating with Libby, that it was communicating probably more along the lines with Bree, Kelsey, Anna, Kyra, his friend was Kyla, which, shoot, I can't even think of her name now. And that group of people is who I think that he was actually talking to. I think that there is a chance that there was a little mini, 13, 14-year-old girls fighting over the boy that they liked. I think there was probably some things going on with maybe some fake accounts, and I don't think Anthony Schatz actually talked to Libby. That's where I'm at with it. Like I said, I can tell you guys that's what I think. I have nothing to back it up. I could totally be right. I could totally be wrong. It's just where I'm at with it. I just don't think they have anything to do with anything. I do think that there's the only thing that I look at and go, is that he was brought to the Grissom Air Force Base, and then there was certain things that were sealed in his case. And the weird part of the same crew, the same investigative crew being at his sentencing. I don't know. So, like, there's some oddities, but I'm just not sold that there's anything that ties him to anything. That's where I'm at. So let me see if you guys agree with me. Hi, CJK. What's up? Oh, thanks. It's wet. I hate it. It's all wet. Perhaps Brad Holder was another motion for. Oh, that skipped, and I was reading one comment and went right to another. Brad Holder was involved more than we think. Maybe even previous suspects or POIs were involved along with Alan. Okay, so here's where I'm at with it. So you guys all know, because anybody who watches me knows, like, everything is kind of separated into the three categories. We've talked about this 1,000 times. So when I look at stuff like trying to figure out because I'm not sold that Richard Allen is the guy, and I'm definitely not sold that he's not the guy. So I'm kind of up in the air. So I have a couple different theories that I try to dig into information with. So I think that if Richard Allen is the guy, I have a working theory that I'm trying to find information to either prove I'm right or prove I'm wrong, right? Like, that's what you do with a theory. So that's where I'm at with that. On the other side, if it has to do with, the Odinism and stuff like that, I think this is where the hang up is I don't think they did it because they're Odinists. I think they did it and they're Odinists. I don't know how else to explain that. This whole, try to confirm it or debunk it. Yeah. Hi, Unsolved Crimes. Oh, that's a whole nother, I got a whole nother thing going on with that too. Hi, Teresa, and all the other Teresas, and hey, David. So I think that people are getting confused because it's like this whole sacrificial thing, and I don't think it's that. I think it's just the people who did it are practicing Odinists. And I'm not sold that it's actually Brad Holder, because there is if you go back to when we read through the memorandum, there's the comment that is made in there about Brad Holder being more like Charles Manson. And to me, that means that he was more like a puppet master behind the scenes. So I have two big working theories. One, to prove Richard Allen is the guy, and one to prove that the other guys are the guy in my own mind, because obviously I'm not proving it to a jury. I mean, so it's, as you know, I get stuck in these cases because I need to be able to figure out where I'm at. So I have two working theories that I dig on and try to, sleuth, and that's where I'm at with it. So if we go with the Brad Holder side of it, I don't think it's Brad Holder that was there. I think Brad Holder is a puppet master kind of guy, not necessarily there. And I don't even know if he knows he's a puppet master. I don't know. So that's why I said that's a working theory on that. Who said that Holder was on CCTV? Well, they supposedly the place where he worked said that he would have been captured on the security cams, but according to the defense memorandum, they never went and pulled the cams. The law enforcement never went and pulled the cams, so they never actually verified it. Hi, Adrian. I think the crime scene was meant to terrify everyone. Oh, maybe. Brad Weber is an interesting one. Carol. Hi, Kyle. He's just an interesting one. And they did a lot of search warrants at his house, or his mom's house. It's his house now, but it was his mom's house at the time. Hi, Alina. Wanted them to do this. When he found out Abby was there, he lost his head. Yeah, so that's why I said we keep hearing that Holder was at work. Time cards, cameras. Oops. Anyone and everyone could be BG. And that's also like, you can't, like, people are like, Richard Allen is BG. Richard Allen isn't BG. And I'm like, I don't know how anybody can tell. To be honest, I can't tell anything. That picture has been put up against, I don't even know how many other, social media POIs. And I'm like, oh, I could totally see it. And then I'm like, I can't, I cannot tell. It is so distorted. I can't tell. Let's see. Todd Click didn't have as much information as you think, and Brad Holder was looked at 2 days after the murders. It's just Rick Allen. I know you guys love conspiracies. Dark Hours, I actually don't like conspiracies unless it's the JFK one. Not a big fan of conspiracies. So I typically try to go with the simplest answer is the answer, but problem here is the simplest answer doesn't actually make a lot of sense. So that's where I'm at. So I definitely don't think that there's a conspiracy of, that law enforcement was involved in the crimes and they've done all this to cover their own people. I don't think that. I think if they're covering anything, they're covering up their own fuck ups. That's where I'm at with that. So essentially rambling anything around the Kennedys, I think, is a conspiracy. That's really the biggest conspiracy that I fall with. Oh, I'm going to be 100% wrong. You know what's going to happen if I'm 100% wrong? I'm just going to go live and talk about it again. Because it's totally okay if I'm 100% wrong. It's totally okay if I'm 100% right. It's totally okay if I'm 75% right. Because I'm not one of those people who's here to try to prove to you or anybody else that what I think is the only way to think. And if you don't think like me, then you're a fucking idiot. Yeah, that's not me. So if I'm right, I'm going to go live. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to go live. I know. It's fucking crazy how simple that is. So anyway, here we are. And with some new motions that were brought out today, or that were dropped today, the majority of people will be 100% wrong. Because nobody knows. How do I think all the nonsense speculation is affecting Libby and Abby's families? Well, I don't talk to them, so I can't actually answer that. How do I think that they feel? I think they feel like they want justice for their girls, and they're not getting it. And I'm pretty sure if I had to quote them, One said, I just want to make sure it's the right person that's getting prosecuted. But I don't speak to them, so I'm not going to speak for them. That attitude is why so many people are in your chat. I don't even know how many people are in my chat, but that's where it is. So I'm like, yeah. MK Ultra was a conspiracy. Oh, and heliocentric model was a conspiracy. UFO conspiracy. Is UFOs even a conspiracy anymore at this point? I mean, is it just like we all know that they're there? I mean, does anybody really question that they're there? We just don't really know what to do with it. I don't know. Like, would a conspiracy? Okay, hold on. I have to ask this. Would a conspiracy be believing that Bigfoot is real? Is that a conspiracy? Yeah, I doubt it, Sleuthy. But at least you gave them the chance. Because I bet they're gonna come back and they're gonna be 100% wrong. So, nope, UFOs are real. Lab leak conspiracy. Hi, Idaho. Bigfoot. Okay, so is Bigfoot a conspiracy? I mean, there's no proof behind that Bigfoot is there, right? So Bigfoot is a conspiracy. Now, if I would partake in a Bigfoot search, would that make me a conspiracy theorist? Or is the conspiracy, Rich, I was just going to say that, thank you, Rich. Is the conspiracy the cover-up of Bigfoot? Dun, dun, dun. They can email me. Yeah, and they're going to find out how many fucks I actually give. It's true. It's very true. I was taken by a UFO and go, Carol, I hope not. Oh, goodness. A conspiracy is secret things. Bigfoot is BG. Confirmed. Sasquatch. No, not necessarily, because we're trying to prove or disprove that Bigfoot is real. So it's not really a conspiracy. We're just looking for evidence. It made me more charmingly eccentric. Well, I'll tell you, I like looking at stuff that has to do with Bigfoot. So maybe I am a conspiracy theorist. Wait, or do I look at the stuff that's a cover-up of Bigfoot, and that makes me the conspiracy theorist? Shit, I don't know. All right, back to today's scheduled program. Do you have any fucks? Go fish. Go fish. I don't fucking have any. I don't have any, sweetheart. I don't understand why people don't understand that until someone is proven guilty in a court of law, then all anyone has, including Ellie, are theories and speculation. No, Sniper, don't you know these people were there? They saw it all happen. They were there. They're the eyewitnesses. I don't know if he's real, and it doesn't matter to me. There you go. You should cover missing 411 cases. I have heard a lot about those. But see, that's the thing is I'm actually not really big on conspiracy stuff. But Bigfoot lives at Kentucky Lake. Okay, we're going to go down we're going to go down a whole different rabbit hole than what we're supposed to be talking about today. Oh, the chupacabra. Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm pulling this up. So get a couple quick motions that were filed today and court hearing scheduled. So let's see. There is some interesting shit out there, but don't get too far down there. Don't get too far down where you can't come back out. Those conspiracy rabbit holes will get you. I think it's interesting, and I'm going to just say this, and then I'm going to move on. I think it's interesting when people have a vested interest in being right or wrong. And I think that's one of the things that people don't understand about me is I don't have a vested interest in being right or wrong. I don't have any alliance to Richard Allen or anything against Richard Allen until it is proven that he is the right guy. Then I got something against the guy. But that's where I'm at. I have no vested interest in trying to prove him innocent or prove him guilty. The whole point of everything that I talk about is literally because I don't know. I can't figure out how I feel about it. So I look at all the things. And this is also one of the reasons that I'm totally open with different opinions in the chat, because I'm trying to figure it out, trying to put things together. you know, is it him? If it is him, how do these certain things make sense? And if it's not him, then how do these certain things make sense? Because to me, there's just, it just doesn't go together. And so that's the bottom line. So I don't, people who have, like, people who are just adamant and will fight to the death that this guy is guilty, I find it really odd, to be honest with you. And it's all the same. People who will fight to the death to say that he's, like, I mean, he is innocent. So, but people who will fight to the death to say, you know, that he actually isn't the guy and that he's totally screwed up. It's so crazy to me, because, like, let's just figure it out. Let's go through everything that we have. And as new things come out, let's add it to what we know. Let's let our opinions grow. Let's let our thoughts actually process. Don't get stuck anywhere. Don't ignore the other side of things. Hi, Titanium Built. I love your channel, girl. Thank you for coming in. So I'm just not adamant about any of them. So is Noe here? Hi, Noe. They say that I'm paid by the defense. Okay. Well, that would be really stupid of the defense, number one. But number two, I would have a lot more money. And yeah, people think that, like, YouTube makes, like, we're just rolling in the dough. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not the case. That is not, you can ask my husband, that is not the case. I am not paid by the defense. I am not paid by the prosecution. Nobody, I don't think the prosecution or the defense gives two shits about my opinion. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just us here that actually we care about what the other ones of us think. You're 100% wrong. Creators are on Slicky's payroll. That 5K sure is stretched. Yeah. There is no I in team. Call me crazy. Or is playing games with the court and prolonging the trial process because you're not prepared. Pretty harmful to the families. Questioning the madness is not. Yeah, I agree. I hope you had a good day, Noe. Yeah, it's not Baldwin and Rozzi causing delays. It's the prosecution and the judge causing the delays. Oh, thank you, Brian. Is Louise here? Hey, Louise. Hey, Mrs. Depp. I heard on some other channel, I forget which, but that Westerman said the case was solved. I must have missed that. Westerman said the case is solved? Well, what do I make of that? Ugh, Mrs. Depp, that's tough. I'd have to know what channel. I'd have to know if they were quoting something that they think Westerman said, what the receipts are behind it. That's tough. Westerman said the case was solved. His own case? I think his own case is pretty solved. He says, I went in there, I took some photos, and this is what I did. Hey, C-Dub. So I think that there's the stuff about Odinism is not new. It was new to a lot of us when it came to the case, but it's not new. When the memorandum very first came out, and I went back and I looked at stuff from, like, Reddit and Facebook and so on and so forth, there was so much talk about this from within a couple of days. So there is nobody out here that wrote any memorandums. I mean, you think the legal defense team's like, yeah, you over there in California, go ahead and write me up this legal memorandum. You don't know shit about shit, but write it up for me. No, they're not. Hi, Kit Kat. Angela's like, Westerman, Schmesterman. Okay, so we know as of last week they were. Hi, Four Pitbulls. We were on Sons of Odin trail since day one. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Nobody wrote it. It's a working defense theory. That's what it is. And Richard Allen is the prosecution's theory, and now they'll have to go through and try to prove their theory. That's it. Hi, Laura. So they'll either prove their theory to be right or wrong, and then, or you know, to a jury of 12, and then that's it. You know, there's going to be the appeals and stuff like that. But if everything actually goes smoothly, which I cannot foresee that happening with the way that things are currently, which is why I say this is kind of split into three, because this part right now, And I think that all of us would agree, this isn't the part that's getting justice for the girls. This is the part that's working out the stuff on the legal side of everything to get everything squared away so that we can get to court to get justice for the girls. It's the wrong Westerman. The one who said the case is solved is a police chief, Bill Westerman, in Adams Township in a child luring case. Oh. Hi, Dave. Welcome to our life. This is how I feel, I swear. So last week, Brad Rozzi put in a motion for continuance, and I've gotten a lot of questions on this today, so I'm sure most people probably know, but I'm just going to explain it real quick anyway. Last week, Brad Rozzi put in a motion for continuance based on the contempt part of the hearing that Judge Fran Gohl had set for February 12th. So he requested a motion for continuance on just the contempt part of the hearing. So today we get another motion for continuance that is from both Baldwin and Rozzi. Essentially, it's actually from Richard Allen by way of Baldwin and Rozzi. And this is requesting a continuance for the amended charges part of the hearing. So that's where we're at. I'm doing another 180 in this case. Oh no. Oh, I don't even know where you landed the last time. What's up, Nancy? I just did a quick Google search and saw that. Okay. I'd never heard of that. So that's where we're at. So it's for she had scheduled the motion for she had scheduled the hearing for the 12th to review and go over the amended charges and to go over and review the motion for contempt, both filed by McClelland. So this is now just the motion for continuance based on the amended charges. And we're going to go through and read what it says, because then I have some questions for you guys on what you think. And hi, everybody that just popped in. Okay, so this comes now the defendant, Richard Allen, by attorneys Brad Rozzi and Andrew Baldwin, and respectfully request that this court continue the February 12, 2024 hearing on state's motion to amend the information filed on January 18, 2024. In support of said motion, attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin state as follows. I'm going to take a drink before I continue. not if she denied him, she had to do it within the half hour I've been live. They weren't denied yet. I know. I'm intrigued too. Unsolved crimes. The way it's looking now, I wouldn't trust them with investigating whether the fox was in the hen house. Nope. I wouldn't either. I'd be at the Delphi. Oh, no, that's awesome. I know that there's one scheduled for Abby and Libby, and then there's one scheduled for the Flora girls, and there was another one scheduled, and I don't remember what it was. Okay, so on January 18th of 2024, the state filed an amended charging information and motion for leave to amend said information. The state's request is to add 4 additional counts to the original charging information. On February 1st, 2024, the court issued an order setting the state's motion to amend for a hearing on February 12th, 2024 at 9 a.m. At the time of the filing of the amended information, Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin were not acting as Richard Allen's lawyers. As you guys remember, that he filed it at 10:30 in the morning, or was 10:30? Maybe it was 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 in the morning, right before the Supreme Court hearing. It got put in. At the time of the filing of the amended information, Rozzi and Baldwin were not acting as Richard Allen's lawyers. It was approximately 6 hours later that they were reinstated as Richard Allen's lawyers in this cause. As of the date of this motion, Rozzi and Baldwin are in the process of recovering the voluminous discovery in this cause. Remember, they had to give it all back They had to give all of it back to the prosecutor. The prosecutor in turn had to give it all to Scremin and Labredo. And then when they were taken off, they have to give it all back to the prosecutor, and now the prosecutor has to give it all back to Baldwin and Rozzi. So give me 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry, middle child needed some help. Okay, so now the discovery's gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and we know under the protective order they're not allowed to make copies of it and just send it out all willy-nilly, right? So there's this copy, and it keeps going back and forth. So the discovery must be shared between attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin, whose law offices are separated by nearly 100 miles. In addition to recovering discovery that was previously possessed by Rozzi and Baldwin, the prosecutor's office has now directed additional and what appears to be new discovery to attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin. The new discovery, upon initial review, appears to be quite voluminous and will likely take several weeks for attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin to review. There is also the difficulty of communicating with their client regarding the new discovery, considering the distance between the client and the lawyers. So this is probably one of the most important sections of this new document. Now, this could mean so many different things. This could mean so many different things. I'll tell you what I think it means, and then we can go over what the possibilities of it are, and which is why I titled the live like new discovery or new discovery. Hi, Charmaine. Is it new, as in it is recently discoverable items that the prosecutor just got his hands on, and this is why he wanted to amend the charges? This is one of the things that I'm hearing a lot out there. They're one of the questions that I'm getting asked. Is this new evidence and why he wants to amend the charges? The other possibility is this just discovery materials that McClelland in the prosecutor's office were holding on to and didn't turn over? Because remember, if we go back to before all the shenanigans, October 19th, or I should actually go back even further than that. I think it was October 1st or 4th. I don't remember the date off the top of my head now. They had requested a deadline for discovery. The judge ordered that the discovery deadline was going to be November 1st. Then obviously we know everything that happened from the October 19th, October 31st, so on and so forth. McClelland puts in that he has given all the discovery to the defense team. So is this discovery that they just hadn't handed over, which would make it considered new discovery that they didn't have? Or is it new discovery that McClelland just got his hands on and he didn't have it? Now, I'm going to say a couple different things and just what my understanding is, and I'm going to preface this by telling you guys I am not an attorney, so I'm only telling you what my opinion and my interpretation of things are. Take it for what you want. It is what it is. Now, when they came out with the amended charges, we talked about that Nick McClelland states in the amended charges that it wasn't based on necessarily new evidence. It was based on that the new charges more aligned with the original charging documents and probable cause affidavit, meaning that he didn't need new evidence or since he didn't have new evidence necessarily, he didn't need a new probable cause affidavit. So typically what happens is if I'm charged with, we'll just use this. If he's charged with the kidnapping and now they have evidence that he actually committed the murder, right? They want to charge him with the murder, then they have to have new evidence that shows he actually committed the murder. Well, what Nick McClelland is saying is, no, we should have probably filed these charges this way from the get-go, and we didn't, and these more align with what we actually believe happened and the evidence that we already had. Not that there's new. So I think this is going to be another one of those points of contention through, depending on what lens you see the case through. And people are going to just see it differently, because it could be a couple different ways. My thought is, this is not new information. This is not something that was just given to McClelland. This is something that was not handed over prior to November 1st. And I'm sure the excuse would be, well, you guys were DQ'd and you guys withdrew from the case, so we didn't hand over everything else that we had, and now here it is. We obviously have no idea what it is, but it's interesting that it's like that now that they're like, well, this is going to take several weeks for us to go through it. So I'm going to put this out there into the universe, and you guys tell me what you think. From the get-go, October 4th, Baldwin and Rozzi said, we are prepared at this time to... Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry. So October 4th of 2023, Baldwin and Rozzi, on an off-the-record conversation that was being had with the prosecutor and the judge, they say they're ready to go to trial, and they plan on filing a speedy trial in November to keep the date of January 8th as the trial date. And the one side of the fence was like, well, this means that like they have everything and they're ready to go, right? So McClelland had already given them everything, they're ready to go to trial. And then the other side is like, this proves everything that happened from the 19th and the 31st and so on, that the prosecutor was not prepared to go to trial. I lean towards that he was not prepared to go to trial, simply because if he was, I don't know why he'd bring a special prosecutor in October, but that's my own thing. And now we have amended charges, or a request to amend charges after the trial would have already started. We have a request, we have a quote unquote new discovery that is now going to take weeks and weeks to go through. We have a request to hold them in contempt. We have a lot of legal maneuvers to postpone the trial. Let me see. 9K tips got turned over to Ann Taylor in January. I feel like it's a good possibility here too. Yeah. It's also possible that they gained new discovery from investigating the Odinist angle, but it still didn't have anything to do with the new charges. Also possible. That's also very possible. It didn't have anything to do with the new charges. So the other thing I was thinking is, if they had anything that was still out, any requests that were still out to other agencies that were investigating the case, somewhat similar to what Ivy Rose is saying here too about, tips and things like that. If they had done anything or gotten any information from those other agencies regarding the investigation that they hadn't turned over, then it would not go against the discovery deadline. Because, so for instance, if I have this, I'm just going to, this is totally just an example and not what the case actually is. But if I have this pen I sent out for testing, and this battery that I sent out for testing, And I have the pen results back, so I included it, but I don't have the battery testing back. So when I get the battery testing back, even if it's November 4th, I still have to turn it over, but it's not necessarily past the discovery deadline because I didn't have it yet. It's new coming in. Now, taking what we were talking about with the Idaho 4 case, it's kind of the same thing, because then the judge can step in and be like, hey, if you have any outstanding lab results, if you have any outstanding things from the FBI, any outstanding things from this task force, that you don't have, and we need to give them a legal deadline, then I have to step in as the judge and give them a legal deadline. So that's kind of where I don't think, my opinion is that it's exculpatory. Ooh, Tammy coming in hot here. You would think that the state would give their strongest evidence in hopes of a deal. They wouldn't sit on it. Very true. That's a very good point. No. So many possibilities, but just because it's voluminous doesn't mean it's bombshell evidence, and I'm sure NM didn't tell them exactly what was it contained. No, because as he has already said, he's not going to do their job for them. So it's not organized whatsoever. It's not going to be organized. And here's the other thing that does typically happen. This isn't, I just want to make sure that this is very clear, though. This isn't a Nick McClelland thing. This is a common legal tactic on the prosecutor's side of things. So I'm not saying that it's just him that's doing this. This is very common. They do that. They will keep certain, they can't keep it until trial and act like it's a bombshell, but they can wait until, if the deadline's November 1st, they can wait till October 31st at 11:59, right? I mean, they're legally allowed to do that, and to make it so it's very hard for the defense to have to go through everything. That's it's that legal cat and mouse game that they do. And they're not going to organize it. They're not going to put it together in any cohesive manner where it's easy for the defense to go through it. Now, to me, that's why I cannot come up with new discovery upon initial review appears to be quite voluminous and will likely take several weeks for them to review it. This could be good, bad, indifferent, exculpatory, inculpatory. It could be a lot of things. So I just want to make sure that we don't just say it is this and there's no other way it's anything but. That's where I'm at. Probably more tapes of R. Allen confessing to his cellmate priest and the lunch lady, but none of it means anything because the Odinist forced him to do it. Squeaky wheel. Hi, Punksy. So the problem is that Rozzi and Baldwin had specifically identified a lot of things that they had not received. Those things certainly aren't new. They're late. Yes. Well, we know that they had received, so they gave us, they gave out the memorandum, and then they gave us the breakdown. Shit, and I wrote it down too. I think it was like they got some on September 18th, then they got some on September. I really wish I knew where I wrote that down. I had a list of when they had given stuff over, but they gave over a few different batches after the Franks memorandum came out. So it's not unlikely that some of the stuff that they had just gotten that they hadn't gone through may also look new. Well, I searched YouTube on interviews with Alex Voorhees, and he explains that he hacked KK's accounts and then he turned over all the information to the. I've seen that interview, JCM. Let me go back and see what we're talking about for that interview. If I can scroll up to your comments. I've been researching the Anthony Shots and Emily and 45 account. Guess the connection. Brian's like, spill it, JCM, spill it. I have very little faith in the state at this point. Well, I'm going to tell you, I have very little faith that anybody who thinks that they were actually ready to go to trial, they were not ready to go to trial. And every move that they make, every strategic thing that they do is to postpone the trial because I don't think they're ready. At some point, did McClelland say he had given them everything he had at that time? I don't remember what date. If we take him at his word, it's discovery obtained by prosecution after that. True, if we take him at his word. Well, I think that when he comes out with his own request, do I have that up still? I might actually have it up. When he comes out with his own request to compel discovery, he says in it right here, the court granted a motion by defense for a discovery deadline, ordering the state to produce discovery by November 1st. His third bullet point is the state complied with that order. 18th, 21, and 27. Thank you, Aspen. So, hi, Dom. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yes, the Voorhees sisters are the two witnesses. I don't know if they're any relation, though. I mean, I know a couple of Voorhees. So this would state to me that he complied with that order, that he did turn over all of his discovery by November 1st. So I think that's an interesting comment there. Now, let's go back. We'll keep reading through it. Without having an opportunity to review the entirety of the new discovery, attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin have no way of determining whether or not the amendments will prejudice the substantial rights of the defendant. So I also want to put, so Kara, and if you guys don't remember Kara's the one who did was working on the writs of mandamus for the Supreme Court. It was October 12th or something like that Nick stated he had sent everything. Yeah, I don't think I have that one still pulled up, but I can try to find it. So Kara puts, the rumors apparently are true. The state in the Richard Allen case dropped a ton of quote unquote new discovery on defense counsel. Now, why she puts it in quotes. So what the hell does that mean? It's like decoding things. Maybe he gave it to the other two defendants, the other two defense attorneys, possibly, because we don't know. The exchange isn't from the defense attorneys to the other defense attorneys. It has to go back through the prosecutor's office and then back through. Yeah, side-eye that she used quote unquote new. I know. So I'm like, what the hell does that mean? That's the thumbnail. Is it new discovery or is it quote unquote new discovery? They had already been removed and didn't get anything else he turned over until they were reinstated. Right. Right. Well, and also because of the whole removal and being brought back and forth and all that, does the discovery, and I asked this actually when we were talking about Nick requesting a discovery deadline, because if he wants to amend the charges, and now they have to prepare for a completely different defense, or it's not completely different, but they have to prepare to defend against even more charges. Then you're taking away the speedy trial, right? Which is kind of, I think, the whole point. They don't want the speedy trial. They're not ready to go to trial. They don't want a speedy trial. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I'm trying to like. I love you guys. Brad Holder, Puppet Master. Hey, Jack. New discovery tells me they only received this info lately. Okay, and if it was okay, so going back to what Tammy was saying, if it's exculpatory and it's actually, I mean, it would be anything of like huge consequence, then I think we would be looking at something very, very different when it comes to the charges being amended. It's new to Baldwin and Rozzi, right? But is it new to McClelland also? I think is the big question. No, the judge ordered them to give it back to the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor had to turn it over. So they made it like go back to the prosecutor turns it over. People act like the Odinist angle is irrational, like the killing was rational. Yeah, it was a rational. Yeah, that's a very good point. Because if you go, if you kill them, that's rational. But if you take an Odinist and make them the perpetrator, that's completely irrational, and now you're a conspiracy theorist. Exculpatory is in the eye of the accuser. Well, exculpatory, yes, but I mean that's what I'm saying. If it's something that actually rules him out, I mean we would be looking at something totally different. So we're not there yet either. Yes, but this is like yes, so that's why I'm like, this is my struggle. But does the November 1st thing even matter anymore when the other attorneys were gone? And now you got a new trial date coming in October, which you know dang well that gives them quite a few months of being able to actually look through and my quotes, investigate more things to bring forward. So is there even a discovery deadline anymore? And yeah, and Kayla, that's another good point. So after she told them to stop working on it on what, the 12th, were they even given anything after that? Yeah, I think November doesn't matter anymore, which is also why I think it was weird that he put in his own motion to have a discovery deadline from the defense, especially if he's like, I want a discovery deadline from the defense, but I haven't actually even given them all of the discovery yet. Now make that make sense, because the discovery deadline from the defense would be, you know, who they're going to be calling as their expert witnesses and so on. But if they haven't even been able to go through, you haven't given them all of the discovery, then how the hell would they know who the hell their experts are going to be? Why does the prosecution have to play games with discovery if they have a solid case? I don't know. I just know that it's a very common tactic, whether they have a solid case or not, because they just, it's the whole wanting to catch the opposing side on their back foot. They don't want them to have the time to prepare. They don't want them to come up with a defense strategy that's going to, you know, work. I mean, honestly, that's really what it is. So he wouldn't turn it over until he absolutely had to. Or if he didn't even have it. Hi, Radar. They spent more time investigating the leak. I'm not going to say you're wrong, because it seems that there's why they were spending their time and energy, and why the prosecutor himself stated that he was investigating this leak for however many days. And it's like, wait a minute. Why are you investigating anything? You're the prosecutor. You don't need to be in the investigation. That's not your job. Why don't you prepare for trial? In court, Nick said he didn't object to the discovery deadline because he had already turned everything over. I miss Mama. Yeah, 7 years later, you finally got some new evidence. But like we've talked about, this new evidence could mean a lot of different things. It could mean a lot of different things. What we do know is it's not new evidence that's going to match up with the amended charges, because if it's new evidence and that's why they feel like they're going to go and amend the charges, then they'd have to do a new probable cause affidavit with that supporting evidence. So that's the only thing I can think that it's not, unless he wants to. Well, he's slick, so maybe. And he says, I don't need to put the new evidence out there because of whatever, because the charges would actually still match what the original documents were. Hi, Jax. I haven't seen much of anything. But yeah, but he's too cute, so he's way more important. Hey, Amber. Yeah, people are like just getting the notifications or just seeing it. You got to prove it. Is there proof? Because you got to prove it. NM claiming he has done irreparable damage when the photos were never out to the public. I have heard that Shane, but I'm too optimistic to believe that was the case. It does seem that way. I've heard that, Shane, but I missed what Shane said. Yeah, 15 podcasters saw them. Doesn't make it public. He's a mess. He's too cute. It's me too. That's been thrown around. Could it even be something as simple as the vehicle data forensic report came back halfway through the Murdoch trial? Just a thought. Possibly. And I was wondering about this data from his vehicle anyway, because it had been so long that I don't even know if they would be able to get it. Okay, let's keep going through this one. We got one more document too. Attorneys Rozzi and Attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin are private practitioners and therefore have other clients and responsibilities that must be prioritized in addition to their client Richard Allen. Some of these priorities involve client conferences and scheduled hearings set during the week of February 5th, 2024. Furthermore, Attorney Rozzi is scheduled to be out of the state of Indiana on Monday, February 12th, 2024 on personal matters. Any reasonable delay allowing for attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin to get back up to speed, exchange discovery, communicate with the defendant, and review the new discovery would not be of any detriment to the state. No, it's a detriment to them because now they can't put in for their speedy trial. So the state, it doesn't matter because it's not new to them. On January 29th, 2024, Defendant Allen filed his verified motion to disqualify an accompanying affidavit. The filing of a motion for disqualification and or request for recusal strips the court of jurisdiction to decide on any matters until a ruling on the disqualification motion occurs. Therefore, it seems logical that the motion to disqualify would be fully adjudicated before any further hearings take place or before any further orders are issued by this court. Wherefore, attorneys Rozzi and Baldwin respectfully request that this court continue the February 12, 2024 hearing on the state's motion to amend charging information and reschedule the matter on a date and time convenient for all parties and after a full and just adjudication on Defendant Allen's verified motion to disqualify takes place. Now, there's a couple things that he puts in here. Full and just adjudication. And I think this is literally going to be because I think most people at this point think that she's just going to deny it with no hearing. So the disqualification of herself, she's just going to say no thank you and put it in and say here's quickly, not doing it, not happening, and then it doesn't matter because she's already ruled on it, and then they can go ahead with this other hearing. So I also noticed when I was looking at my case that the hearing is still scheduled for 12/12 or 2/12. And as of today, there was a hearing scheduling activity. So I think that this is from the motion to vacate the hearing, which is what we're going to go over next. So there's nothing that's changed. She's not even considered it at this point. She's not putting anything in. And remember, he put in his original motion to continue last week. So she definitely knows it's there. She's just not doing anything with it, which really makes me think that she's not going to let them. She's not going to continue it. She's just going to say, no, sorry, we're doing this whether you like it or not. Hi, True Crime Web. New evidence can be developed as testing discoveries, witnesses step forward, lab tech reports, etc. are turned over to the prosecution. So, and I have to tell you guys, so yesterday, this is totally a side conversation, but I think it's important because I find it very interesting. So yesterday in Sleuth Intuitions Live, I was talking to Steve from True Crime Web, and I was asking, because as you guys know, I'm not, guns and ammo and that kind of stuff is not my forte. Sniper normally steps in and has to help me out. And so I was asking Steve if it's possible, because The verbiage is that the bullet was found in the ground, not like on the ground. It was in the ground. So if the bullet was in the ground, I would think that there would be a way to test how long the bullet had been there. I mean, I'm sure that there's obviously a margin of error, but I would think that there would be a way to know this type of metal, this type of bullet being buried here for 5 years or, 2 days or something along those lines would make sense. So Steve from True Crime Web is kind enough to do an experiment, because you know how he does his experiments. So he's actually putting something together where he's going to bury different ammo, and he's going to test to see if you can tell how long things have been underground. So I want you guys to keep an eye out for that, because I think that's a great question. If the bullet has been there for a very long time, that would matter. Let me see what you guys are saying. This seems un-American. The point is to limit what can be brought in at trial. Right. Never heard he was. Overnight is a Rick Superman eats so he can perform kind of the opposite of kryptonite. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. All right. You guys went off and had your own side conversation there without me. I don't even know what's going on in the chat. So this is the next motion to vacate the hearing. Just cancel the hearing altogether. All right. Oh, see, somebody is paying attention to me. Thanks, guys. Like if the bullets are rusted, RA did say he never was down at the murder scene. But we also know that that's also a flood area. It's a flood basin. So is there any way that something from there would get what? How many other things have been washed up into this area that didn't come from there originally? Yeah, I've stated before, if Gall and now Nick McClelland have, after seeing defense work product, stay on this case, then RA is convicted. It will be 100% turned over on appeal. And that sucks for the families and the victims. I completely agree with you. And that is, it has nothing to do with whether Richard Allen is the right guy or not. That's just what's going to end up happening based on what the weird games that are being played right now. The legal games, or the legal maneuvers. No, it's totally yours. No, that's yours. That's yours. You're the one. You're the phenomenal one who does it. If you guys aren't subscribed to True Crime Web, you are missing out, and you absolutely should be. If the bullet was buried, why is there an alleged photo of it laying on top of leaves in the leaked photo? I do not think that is the bullet, Digital. That is somebody's opinion that it is the bullet, but I don't think it is the bullet. If you go with what was said, it was in the ground. In, not on. I don't know. I know words like that can be semantics, but those words can also be very important. Okay, so the motion to vacate the hearing. Now they're just like, just cancel the damn thing already. This is ridiculous. Comes now the accused by counsel and moves the court to vacate the February 12, 2024 hearing in support thereof. Counsel states, the defense filed a verified motion to disqualify on January 28th, 2024 at 10 p.m. My opinion is this should have been the very first thing that came out, and should have been like, no, you cannot do anything until you do this. Like all the other motions for continuance and whatnot, this should have been the first thing. Like, no, you need to do this. Okay, hold on. This is awesome work. Everyone should go subscribe if you're not already. Yep, absolutely. Most bullet casings are brass, but some cheaper range training ammo is steel cased. RA had both brass and steel cased ammo at his house. So do 90% of gun owners. So we know that the bullet that they found in the ground matches the bullet, or they say matches the same type and brand of bullet that was found in the keepsake box. Now, I think we could probably figure out whether that's the brass or the steel or whatever one it is by just going back to that, right? Here's me and my professional ammo talk over here. Yeah, the memorandum states it's in the ground. I am, from my understanding, the bullet was found on the 14th, logged on the 15th. Now, is that true? I don't know. We don't know that. We won't know that probably till trial. Not sure. Maryland Supreme Court limited bullet matching testimony. It's an interesting topic I've been reading up on. Oh, yeah, because you know me. That's not my forte. Anyone could buy any brand of ammo, and any similar gun will have the same ejection marks. The bullet is worthless. I keep hearing that, but then I look at other people who are quote unquote experts in the field, and it's some say no, it absolutely can. And so then, like I said, this is not my forte. So then what I'm hearing is that it depends on when the gun is made and who made the gun. So I don't know. I'm going to be listening to the experts just like everybody else, when it comes to trial, because I don't know. The control test will include brass, nickel brass, aluminum, and a steel casing to cover the base heads. That's going to be so interesting. That's going to be just so interesting, not just for this case, but just to know. Bullet was in the ground and in a floodplain. Yes, Steve, that's why I was saying that too. Like, how much other stuff was washed up into this area that didn't actually belong there, or wasn't dropped there, or wasn't left there? And if that's the case, then I don't know. I think they'd have to have somebody who was more into like the flow of where did things come from, where would he have been? I don't even know. I don't even know how far you'd get into that, but that's just my thought process. Dean. It is. It's part of the leaked crime scene photos. So what Ruckus did was he saw something in the photos that he believes looks like a bullet. My opinion, it is not the bullet. But that's neither here nor there. He could be right. I could be right. We're all going to be. That's just going to be whatever it is. And both of us are going to go live afterward and say, "Hey, we were right or we were wrong." Let's go back to the beginning. Wasn't the bullet found a couple of days after the crime during an expanded search? I've heard so many rumors about when this bullet was found. All I can say is that what I have been told was that it was found that day and it was logged on the 15th. If that's accurate or not, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to know until we get to trial and they put the people on the stand and say, this is what happened. This is who found the bullet. This was who was out there. This is how they processed that scene. Now, the bigger question is there chain of custody? Now, is that part of this new discovery that actually comes in? Is the actual chain of custody of this bullet? Because according to the memorandum, they have a photo of the bullet in the ground, and then they have a photo of it at the lab. And there's nothing in between. Acquired FBI agent Abbott said he's friends of DC and they discussed the case, and that FBI was in excess of 100 in Delphi at times. These interviews are all on my community wall. Ooh, interesting. So if the bullet was visible in photos, why didn't they find it right away? They carry a lot of different manufacturers. Yes, he did. Trial courts reverse decisions while appellate courts overrule decisions. Hold on, I gotta figure out what you're talking in reference to. Hi, Shelly. How do you know this is a flood zone? Just wondering. This came up when they were going through. This is a while ago. Maybe I can find that again. There was like a flood map. That's not what it's called, but it was like the map of. Let me see if I can find it again, and maybe we can go through it. I just remember watching, and you could see like the flow of how everything went and when it flooded, and what areas it was. Now I don't remember if you could tell like exactly where everything was coming from. I'm sure they could, and I just don't understand it. I've heard that too, Little Gambler. Yep. Issue was that there wasn't a picture for every movement of the bullet, but I don't think that ruins chain of custody. I think only if that would be a good question for True Crime. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. True Crime Web. From my understanding, only if it's being tested and it's being opened. I think there still has to be photos of it, or when it's being processed from the ground. I think they still have to have photos of it. Like they have to have like as it's coming out of the ground. No, I would assume. The area has been flooded several times since the crime. Well, that's another, I think, good indication that it floods. In 2018, they put in 2-stage ditches in order to alleviate the flooding. And I actually think I have a picture of one of those. It's definitely a floodplain. I've seen it. That Crimson Clover, that's a great question. I think a lot of us want to know. Okay, so let's go through. The state filed the verified information for contemptuous conduct on January 29th, 2024 at 4:34 p.m. In that pleading, the state requested the court to issue rule to show cause, set a hearing, and order Mr. Baldwin and Mr. Rozzi to appear and show cause. This has not been done. Additionally, upon the filing for disqualification, the court was divested of jurisdiction to act in the case on any matter other than the motion for change of judge or emergency matters. On February 1st, 2024, the court set the state's request to amend the charging information and their allegation of contemptuous conduct for hearing on February 12th. Before the court takes any action on any motions, there should first be a hearing on the motion to disqualify. Wherefore, the accused respectfully prays the court to vacate the February 12th, 2024 hearing and schedule a hearing on the motion for disqualification and for all other relief just and proper in the premises. Now, I think it's going to be I think it's going to be interesting because remember, one of the things that her attorneys were saying was that her attorneys were saying at the Supreme Court was that Baldwin and Rozzi should have filed for a continuance if they didn't want to go to the hearing on October 19th, and they didn't. Well, now here they are on multiple occasions requesting a continuance and an order to vacate the hearing altogether, and we'll see if that even matters. That's where I'm at with that. All right. Chain of custody sheets are boring with names, times, and dates showing the exchange only. And if that's lost, Steve, is that a problem? I'm not trying to disprove it being a flood. I'm just curious where people are seeing that. Yeah, no, I know. Chain of custody doesn't require a pick after the bullet was removed. It's more about signatures. People who are absolutely convinced of Richard Allen's guilt have a source. I think they have a source that's telling them all the actual evidence that the defense team doesn't have. Now, if that's the case, then I think that we've got major problems, bigger problems in this case than what these motions say there are. Let me see. I'm just reading your comments. Give me a second. Right. I agree. No clarification on whether it was bagged and tagged. Who did it? I don't know. That's why I'm wondering, like the chain of custody sheets. Oh, Charmaine, thank you for joining. Couldn't think of the right term. Not a description of the killer, but a blank of the killer. You know what I mean. No chain of custody. He didn't plead out because the state cannot prove conversion. I think that too. I think conversion was a kind of a trumped up charge, and he's just like, yeah, no, I'm not taking that. Even though it's a misdemeanor. Hi, Mother of Dragons. If the crime scene were not guarded between body discovery and bullet discovery, who put it there and when? Hi, Lambert, and that's a good question. If it's not guarded, well, we do know that Ron Logan was down there for his interview, but we don't know if the bullet was already found by then. Respect the passion they have. It must be so draining at times fighting the impossible. And the conversation I had today was why did RA's gun and fingerprints? I think there's probably another part of that comment that I'm missing, Luis. I think his DNA doesn't match the DNA they have. Why I would agree. Otherwise, they would have used that. There's definitely doesn't match any DNA because that would be a huge thing that we would already know about. And also, why would Patrick Westfall still be being tested, having his DNA tested, if they already had a match to Richard Allen? What's up, Bob? What y'all getting on about in here? We're just talking about motions for continuances and motions to vacate hearings and just all the shits and stuff. In normal cases, if chain of custody is not intact with proper dates and signatures, the evidence is throughout. End of story. Didn't the defense talk about that in the memorandum? Looking for others. Why would February be a flood zone month? I'm just trying to understand. I don't think it had anything to do with it flooding in February. My question was about if the bullet could have traveled there during flood times. And that's why I was asking Steve if you could actually tell how long the bullet had been in the ground, like, and what the margin of error on that would be. Like, could you only tell if the bullet had been in the ground for years, or could you actually tell if the bullet had been in the ground for, for months? So it could have flooded at some other time and brought up all kinds of junk, garbage, bullets. I don't know. I have no idea. This is just, once again, like I said, these are things that I'm trying to work out in my brain to see where they fit and where they fall. Yeah, they definitely have DNA. They definitely have DNA or fingerprints because Kim Riley he says it in his interview with Michael Catt. He says that the person that they're looking for has not committed a crime before. The only way he would know that is by being able to run whatever they had, either the fingerprints or the DNA, which I'm going with DNA only because they literally take DNA from everybody or ask for DNA from everybody that goes in. A lost evidence sheet would complicate things, but reports are made constantly, and best evidence is a rule, and those reports would include those exchanges. Okay. So then what do you think that lacking in the chain of custody the defense would mean by that? What do you think that they would be missing? If they have the bullet where they see it in the ground and then they have the bullet at the lab, what would be missing that would be a bigger deal? I have no idea, Carol. I haven't even paid attention. The tolerance of the extractors or any part nowadays is so tight. Everything is made on CNC machines. If there was a blemish, would be about the only way. I don't think they have a very good DNA sample, but if it's enough to compare people to and he doesn't match it, it'll definitely be a problem. Okay, so question for Bob. Defense lawyers, if no intact chain of custody for bullet, will it be thrown out? Criminality, there should be chain of custody sheets. I don't know if the public could see them before trial. Ooh, thank you, Shay. I'll pull it up. All the motions. Yep, going through all the motions. It won't be thrown out. It will just go to the weight of the evidence. Hopefully T sees it. Yeah, gotcha. I'm going to pull it up right now. There's a huge difference between a lost form and evidence out of the control of LE. Did I have a pop this pop in? I. Okay, let me pull this up. The problem is they have a photo of a bullet in the ground, photo of a bullet at a lab. Nothing to show, including no photo that the lab bullet is the same one that was in the ground. That's why I'm asking, is it normal? What other photos would or should they have to prove that? It would be like losing a quarter in a parking lot, then walking around and finding a quarter and saying it's the same quarter. Okay, maybe, give me a second. I'm going to pull up this video. Yeah, this is 6 years ago, but shows what the flooding can look like in the Deer Creek area. Okay.
Flooding in Carroll County.
I don't know if
Julia
you guys
Dang
can hear it
joins us
because I
there
don't think
now
I
live. Tell
put
us
that
all
thing
about
on.
it, Julia.
Hold, please. Thank you, Shebe, for sending this. Let's get rid of this. This on.
Coverage of the flooding overnight, though.
Yeah, significant flooding in Carroll County. Julia Dang joins us there now live. Tell us all about it, Julia.
Hi, I am standing in more floodwater than Deer Creek has seen.
Hold on. Did you? She was just like, "What's up?" Did you see her? Hold on. I gotta go back to that. That was too funny. It cracked me up. Hold on. She's like, "What's up?" with her face. Sorry.
Hi, I am standing in more floodwater than Deer Creek has seen in decades. Just take a look at this. This is crazy. This is somebody's backyard. I'm in probably about 18 inches of water over here. And the farther back you move in the direction of that fence, the deeper it gets. Now, homeowners in this neighborhood tell us they were shocked and completely unprepared for this storm and the extensive damage it caused. I'm going to wade over here now so we can talk more with homeowner Bill Hilton. And I understand you have now lived here for about 40 years. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, nothing like this. I've seen water in the backyard, but never like this. This is most unexpected. Most unexpected.
And the water is going down pretty quickly. It's receded at least a couple inches since we got here an hour ago. How deep was it at its very worst when you woke up this morning?
When I woke up this morning, it was over my boots out here in the yard, and they're 24-inch boots. So yeah, it was deep. It was running over top of my deck boards, almost coming in the back door of the house. But luckily, it did not come in the house on the back door. We had a little bit in the bedroom that came in from the vents and the foundation, but that's minimal. We were lucky.
Wow, and is there anything that you did to kind of prep your house for possible flooding?
I keep my culvert cleaned out, keep all my trash and everything picked up out of the yard. So in case it does rain, nothing floats to the culvert, so it can keep flowing freely. But I was out there all night picking up stuff from my neighbors that unexpected stuff floated down, trash cans. But it's nobody's fault, just unexpected happenings.
Unexpected, a lot of people unprepared. We are going around the neighborhood talking to more people about how they're dealing with all of this, how they're cleaning up right now. We'll have another live update for you ahead on Daybreak.
Okay, is anybody else getting anxiety with the fact that she's just got her phone just all willy-nilly out there? Like, stop waving your phone around. Like, what's up? What's up? Okay, so obviously a lot of flooding. This actually looks very similar to my street right now, ironically. She should have asked him to say, guys, down the hill. And then he would have been like, guys, down the hill. There was one flood and Becky was out in a canoe. You say Miss Becky, that makes me think of Becky Hill from Murdoch. Hey, Tony. I know it would be, but it's still just giving me, no pop socket or nothing. It's just all willy-nilly. So anyway, so Deer Creek does flood, obviously. I mean, this isn't that specific area, but this was just my thought. And like I said, there's nothing that backs up. It's just me thinking out loud. Is this possible? If it's possible, then I think it should be looked at. And if it's not possible, then we just keep moving on. The date of the video. I'm sorry, Shelly asked me that too, and I forgot. This is from 6 years ago, July 11th of 2017. So, it's a very popular video. It's got 66 views. All right, let me see. So that's what I just think. Like, is it possible that there's this floodplain? What else was found there? I think that's going to be important, because if there is other things that are there, then where did they come from? You know, if I was right, if I was at the right coordinates at the crime scene, the elevation was only a couple of feet above highest point of creek bank. Yeah, so a couple of months after the girls died. Yep. Okay, it is. I mean, I know we're flooding too. Hey, Derek. I don't understand what is going on here. I live in Indiana, and it's sad because some people have forgotten about them girls. Well, I don't think anybody should be forgetting about the girls. They're ultimately that's the biggest thing at the end of the road of this. I think that we're just in this little crevice of the legal side of things where it's not necessarily about them. And I worry, I shouldn't say worry, that's not the right word, but I look at some of these things that are happening with the motions and stuff, and I'm like, did they remember what they're here for? Like, the prosecution seems to be spending a lot of time trying to get rid of the defense team versus trying to get justice for the girls. And maybe they see that that's what they're doing, and I just don't see it that way. So likely Nicole's back at the beginning, so anybody who was here at the beginning remembers what happened. Hey, who does? Oh, you sent me some interesting things. I've got to keep looking into that. I don't understand. Let me see. Okay, what else is there? All right. Well, there's water. There is a water measuring station in the area of the crime scene that measured 3.9 on the 13th and the 14th, and exceeding the measuring station around that time as well. Oh, really? See, that's very interesting. I would too, Derek. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Oh, God. It's terrible. That is above the average, so that's very high. The judges made this hi BH, by the way. The judges made this a clusterfuck. Between that judge and the prosecutor, the girls are being forgotten. If you think we'd be, you know what, almost a month deep in trial right now. That is just mind-boggling to me. And now we're not going to see a trial for a very long time, in my opinion, because there's more stuff and more stuff and more, there's your new discovery. That's where I'm at, Darren. Yeah, we'd be coming up on the end. We'd be knowing all the questions that we have, all the things that we're talking about right now. We'd have answers to the majority of it. Not everything that they did, not everything that they investigated, not everything that happened in the investigations is going to be in the trial. So don't take it that way, because as you know, we've learned with other cases and request the discovery after the fact, there's a ton that never even makes it into the trial. So Attorney Baldwin admits to leaking altered crime scene photos. No, I think you're putting together some pieces that McLeland is saying what Baldwin said, but that's not actually what he says. Here, let's go back through what he says, and I've heard this on a couple other channels lately too, and we'll just go over this before we wrap it up because I got a little bit more time, and so why not? Let's just do it. Nope. Here. So, okay, we'll go through this again because it's the terminology that's used, and we have to remember that when it's both sides. You can't just ignore it from one side and then read into it on the other side. So you have to just remember these are lawyers. They're talking in lawyer, and you have to be able to see what they're saying. And there's a reason that they say certain things. And it's not just the defense that has a reason to say certain things. The prosecutor also has a reason to say certain things the way that they do. So hold on. Okay. The state was made aware by the families of the victims that crime scene photos were leaked to the public. The Indiana State Police began an investigation into how the photos were leaked. It became immediately obvious that the leaked photos came from the defense. On September 18th of 2023, the defense filed a Franks motion with a memorandum in support. The memorandum described the crime scene in gory graphic detail. As part of the memorandum, the defense attached exhibits that were provided in hard copies. Those exhibits are provided in hard copies to the state and to the court. Some of the exhibits were side-by-side photos that the defense created and photos of the crime scene that the defense had altered. Now, this is not photoshopped. And I think people need to really understand the difference here. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, I know exactly what's about to happen. Altered is that they changed it. You change the size of it. You can, we also know that one of the girls didn't have any clothes on, and the leaked photos that came out had, squares over the private parts. Altered is what altered means. They changed that. They didn't Photoshop them. They didn't put horns on one of the girls or anything. There's nothing like that. Altered means altered. And I keep trying to say this too because these photos were created for depositions with law enforcement officers who saw the crime scene. The defense team isn't going to go Photoshop a bunch of sticks and an F onto a tree and be like, look at what you guys saw, and you didn't say anything about it. And the investigators are going to be like, what? That doesn't. That's not there. Like that doesn't there. That was right there. They're not photoshopping them. So here, to the state and to the court is who got the exhibit list. Altered could be the change in size, with the change they could have flipped them, horizontally. No, it's not just Lynn. That's not you. I'm hearing it a lot on some other places, so I think it's totally worth going back over. Don't even apologize. You have nothing to apologize for. So, but there, I think people want to, could be a change in color, could be a filter. Yeah, you crop it. Like, there's so many things are altered, not photoshopped. Not photoshopped. So I know that there are other channels that are trying to push this, like they made all this up and they made photos to match it and then they sent them out to the public. That's not true. So then we have where was it at? Which one is it? So they talk about some of the exhibits were side-by-side photos, the ones that are altered. These photos were the photos that were leaked to the public, which we know based upon what Baldwin has said, what McClelland has said, and what Mitch Westerman's affidavit has said, is that the photos that were leaked to the public were the ones that were laying on the table for the depositions, and that's it. I mean, so it is those photos, but I just think that people are turning it into something else. Now, there's another comment in here that is important that I think people are stuck with or stuck on. The officer determined the podcaster got the photos man below, who got them from Robert Fortson. Robert Fortson received the photos from Mitch Westerman, tied to the defense team. Defense counsel Andrew Baldwin stated on conference call with all parties interested. Okay, here. It's this one. The investigation by the Indiana State Police revealed that Mitch Westerman previously worked for Baldwin and was a person Baldwin trusted. In an interview with Indiana State Police Defense Counsel, Baldwin admitted that he voluntarily gave Mitch Westerman a copy of the Franks memorandum. Someone pointed out earlier the ground would have been frozen in February. Well, that's interesting. Well, it was unseasonably warm. I don't know if that matters to the ground. That's not not something I know anything about. Redacted block sections covering private areas and evidence stamps occurred to the images, all altered based upon what they had versus what they were given from the prosecutor. And even if they were photoshopped, which they weren't, the altered photos were side by side, it would be clear that there was differences. Dean says the ground isn't frozen in Wisconsin right now. There's a reason the DA used the terminology altered deliberately to make the defense look sketchy when it's the judge, Ellie, and district attorney who have been doing the heavy lifting on altering. I won't disagree. I think it was 48 that day. It was 43 or 48. I remember when I looked it up. Hi, Hybrid. I'd love to hunt him back at the beginning of your life, but Annie keeps getting in my thoughts with this case. Annie. Well, I think the word altered it's done intentionally. I mean, like, that's what I said. You have to remember, like, they're both doing the same thing. That some of the words that they use, it's very intentional. And if anybody thinks that like these things aren't being put in here for the public, I mean, this is why I'm like, okay, come on. Like, everybody's like, the memorandum was just for the public. Well, this is just for the public. I mean, they want the public to see these things. It's not a one-sided thing. This is just what they do. So here he says, defense counsel Baldwin admitted that he voluntarily gave Mitch Westerman a copy of the Franks memorandum to review. Now, this is one sentence, right? The next sentence, defense counsel Baldwin also stated that he gave the Franks memorandum to another civilian to review. Okay? The Franks memorandum given to two people. The memorandum, two people. Now, the next sentence, the Franks memorandum and the exhibits contained protected discovery, information that included very sensitive crime scene photos that were quote unquote leaked by Mitch Westerman. Specifically, The investigation revealed that Mitch Westerman gave those photos to an individual named Robert Fortson, who then passed them on to other individuals. Now, here's the big thing. This is a statement of fact. The Franks memorandum and the exhibits contained protected discovery information that included very sensitive crime scene photos. Yes, we know that. And this is where I think that the tricky wording comes in, because that word leaked by Mitch Westerman. It's the same photos that were printed and put on the table. Hi, Johnny Blackhawk. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you for so long. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, the word civilian, because Mitch Westerman is a civilian, but people think the prosecutor, it's all the same thing. So there's the Franks memorandum and its exhibits. This is a fact-based statement. Franks memorandum and exhibits contain protected discovery information. Now, nothing here does it say that Baldwin gave Westerman or this civilian the Franks memorandum and the exhibits. It just says the Franks memorandum. But people are like, nope, nope, nope. He gave him all the exhibits. That's not said. That is not what's said here. It's worded in a way to make you think it's possible, but that's not what's actually said. He gave them a copy of the Franks memorandum. That's what he gave them. Yes, he voluntarily gave the Franks memorandum. Yes, absolutely. That is a motion, though. That is not discovery. He's allowed to give. He could give that. It's not protected. It's not a protected, discoverable item. It's a motion, and I think that's what the big thing here is because this part, the exhibits, which is what they filed under seal, this is the part that's protected, and it's also the part that was stolen by Mitch, or however you want to look at it, conversion, whatever. Now, if Nick McClelland has evidence that Baldwin gave the exhibits voluntarily to a civilian, Mitch Westerman, or to anybody, that would be very different, but that's not what he says. And I told you guys, words are words. I mean, they mean something to me. Like, if that's what you put down, if you actually wanted to say that they gave the exhibits, that you think Baldwin voluntarily gave the crime scene photos or the exhibits to Westerman or to the civilian, in my opinion, I would think he would damn well say that. He wouldn't do it in this weird, it included very sensitive crime scene photos that were leaked. Yes, but that's not who that doesn't mean he gave them to him. It included those because they printed them up and used them in the depositions, and then they attached them to the exhibit list of the Franks memorandum, stating, these are the photos we showed Holman during his deposition. These are the photos that we showed so-and-so during his deposition. So, and then Mitch Westerman takes photos of photos, sends them out to Robert Fortson. Robert Fortson then passes them on to, from what I can tell, at least 2 people, possibly even a third. But I think that we won't know that until Westerman goes to trial. So that's where I'm at. It is what it is. Changing the contrast on an image is altering. I know. So every time, if I take a screenshot or if I zoom in on something, I definitely have altered it. I think there's an argument there, but clearly there's a lot of actual discovery inside the memo, quotes, etc. Yeah, but it's their interpretation. That's just like saying that would you consider the probable cause affidavit discovery? If you don't consider the probable cause affidavit discovery, or the search warrant, or Ron Logan's search warrant, if you don't believe that those are discovery items, then the Franks memorandum is also not a discovery item. You see what I'm saying? They're not. Even though they include some details that are, to me, it was a lot when we read it. So I get that it was a lot. So and there's somebody who pops in to the chat, and I have not seen her in a little while, but she pops in and she keeps saying, and I'd love to be able to talk to her if anybody actually knows who it is. She keeps saying that she doesn't understand what the issue is with these photos because she's local and they were shown the photos like right after the crimes. Like the people in town saw the photos. Now, I don't know if that's true. It's just something that she's commented a couple of times, and I would love to be able to know if that's actually factual. Because we've heard the rumors for a very long time that one of the searchers took photos. Rumor. She will deny the defense discovery on Nikki Boy's shady behavior. Yeah, I've heard that. Yep. Heard that so many times. It's still just work product. Yep. I would too. Hi, Charmaine. Still no word on why Goals courthouse was. Oh my gosh, we didn't even bring that up. Did you guys all see that? Somebody commented under my live at the or my last live that the courthouse was vandalized, and then Aspen sent me an article on it. It was her courthouse. Yes. Okay. So you guys, I've heard that civilians took photos. Yep. Photos floating around week 1. They arrested the vandal. Here, I'll pull it up. Let me see. Yeah. Police investigating after man used a sledgehammer to shatter Allen County courthouse doors. But at least he wore safety goggles. And that was smart. Yeah, he wore his safety gear. And he in his vest, letting everybody know that he was there so he didn't get hurt. The Allen County Sheriff's Department says they've now detained a man who destroyed multiple doors with a sledgehammer inside the Allen County courthouse. Officials say the man wearing an orange safety vest and clear safety glasses walked up to the courthouse around 7:26 p.m. on Friday and just started breaking the doors. The vandalism suspect used his sledgehammer to break out glass on the entry doors before he walked inside and broke out several other doors. The man then ran off through camera, though cameras inside the courthouse were able to pick up images of him. Police had been asking for the public's help in finding him, but have since said they have detained the suspect. There you go. Just started busting shit. I'm guessing 10 locals saw the crime scene before Ellie, and every one of them likely had a phone. Oh, well, we know at least 10. From my understanding, it seems that there were multiple people converged on the spot once the girls were located. That multiple groups all came. Oh, Scott, thank you. He made himself visible. He was like, here I am with my vest on. All right, let me just check you guys, see what else you got. Why can't people understand that monsters come in all shapes and religions? These ones just happen to be odinous. Well, my honest opinion is because they turned it into, the defense turned it into a sacrifice by white supremacists, and maybe there's something else that's gonna point us in that direction, and that they know that obviously we don't know. But I think it would have been better served to be that the perpetrators are also odinous, not that they were, I don't know, but I mean, and there's the whole blood loss thing, and then there's the freaking Labrato saying on that interview that he thinks that one of the girls was sacrificed and the other was killed. People have asked me a lot, like which one I believe he was referring to, and I mean it's such a morbid thought anyway, but I do think a lot of people assumed that it was Libby. For me, it was Abby. So calls were made to friends and family from crime scene before the call to law enforcement. Yep. Well, we know that because Jake Johns' wife was with Becky Patty, and then that's how she hears that they were found. And then her sister comes up and says that she's sorry. A 213 sacrifice is known as a bloodless sacrifice. Just FYI, in case no one knew that. Well, that's also very interesting then, that the choice of words from Diener is the bloodlust surrounding the case. I think the sacrifice was Libby. Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I would think that it was Abby was because of the description of her in the Frank's memorandum. And like I said, it's very morbid, and I don't even know if I want to go back into it, but just they talk about the lack of blood in any capacity, almost making it sound like she didn't have any blood left. They don't say that, but that's kind of what it was. Delphi was a cover-up for arson in Florida, just like Gary Hinman was covered up by Tate and La Bianca murders by a cult of recess. I've not really looked super deep into Flora. I mean, I know the basics of it. I know that I know there are a few channels that really have focused on it. I don't know. I just never did. I'd like to see the photos that John had. Okay, I don't know if Unsolved Crimes is still in here, but she was helping work on something too. Let me see if you guys know. Oh, maybe we'll save it for a different one because it's already 2, and I don't have enough info to really be able to relay it clearly. But we were doing some research. One of my friends who doesn't have a channel, and then I was sending some of it to Unsolved Crimes because she's so good at the connections between people. And it's just another weird coincidence of Curtis Fout's cousin who was married to Steve Mullen's sister. I don't know. So it's like another weird one. But I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go get some dinner. And I think we went over everything for today. Tomorrow, for anybody who was talking about, we were talking about doing Harmony Montgomery. Tomorrow, the jury selection starts. So pending weather, I'm going to try to do a live in the morning. And we can do the Harmony Montgomery timeline so we can get prepared for trial. I think it's going to probably take a few days for them to get a good jury in place for that because it was such a high profile case in the area. The Odin claims for them, the Odinists literally are claiming responsibility while denying responsibility, blaming Richard Allen. This supposed ridiculous scenario is a contradiction. Well, no, I disagree because I don't think that was sacrificial. I think what we're looking at is people who were wanting to be a part of a club that was Odinistic. I don't think that the club itself necessarily wanted to claim anything to do with it. I think it's the people, and this is on this side, this side of my theory. Remember, because I told you I have 2 working theories right now, one with Richard Allen, one without him. So this is my without him one. I don't think that the people that were responsible for it are in the club quite yet. I think that this is part of their getting into the club, part of what they think that they're going to do, and why they're not allowed to be in the other club. But when I have more to it, I will go. I will put all my working theories to test. That is irrelevant. No, I disagree. But okay. And almost like an initiation, or like, hey, we really want to impress you. Someone wanting to impress the existing group. Yeah. Hi, women doing impossible things. We're just wrapping up. Another odd coincidence, just like everything else in this damn case. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. Go enjoy the rest of your Monday. I will see you guys back tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do in the morning. Don't hold it against me if I don't. But I thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys spending your time going over just all the things, because I feel like that's what we're doing. We're just attention if they want to. Never mind. Yeah, it's not gonna, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about until I can actually break it down for you, which is totally okay, because I'm not gonna do that right now. Like I said, working theories, they evolve, they change, they keep going. So it's okay if you don't want to stick around to hear it when it does happen. But one day I'll share it all with you guys. Go enjoy the rest of your Monday. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here, and I'll see you mañana.